online, sun protection, headwear, something like that.
It's a good investment.
Yeah. They're in Oregon. They're made in Oregon.
Good investment.
Yeah.
Well, with the music going by, that's indicative of World War II, and why not? Because this is the Stearman Flight from World War II in honor of all those who served in our nation's military. The Stearman 16 flying today are flown by Harry Hart. He's from Starkville, Mississippi, and Mike Nebrick from Denton, Texas. The yellow Navy Stearman was based at Naval Air Station, Dallas, Texas, throughout its military service. And the blue and yellow Army Air Corps Stearman was based at airfields in and completed its military service at Pryor Field in Decatur, Alabama. Built as a private venture by the Stearman Aircraft Company of Wichita, which Boeing bought in 1934, this two-seat biplane was of mixed construction. And when I say mixed construction, I don't mean concrete. The wings were made of wood and covered with fabric. The fuselage, however, though it was covered with fabric as well, had a tough welded steel framework. Could have a Lycoming R680. That was a PT-13, or a Continental R670, that was a PT-17, or a Jacobs engine, a PT-18. But the Continental engine powered most of the models and had a top speed of, well, maybe in a shallow dive of about 124 miles an hour.
Yeah,
I remember I was blowing the once in our dreams. No, it's an open cockpit biplane, and it just was never very fast. Very simple in terms of how to fly the airplane. As Wayne told you earlier, landing was a different story. Any operations in any kind of a crosswind was a different story. But there they go, flying by these two Stearman biplanes, taking you back to the early days of World War II, Naval Aviation, and Army Air Corps Aviation. It was officially named the Boeing Model 75. The plane was and still is persistently known as the Stearman by the many who flew them. The PT was called the PT by the Army, the M2S by the Navy, the Cadet, K-A-Y-D-E-T by the Canadian Forces. No matter what name you choose, more than 10,000 were built. And by the end of 1945, over 10,000 built by the end of the war, and at least 1,000 are still flying today worldwide. The Navy sometimes called it the Yellow Peril, and some Stearman owners claim that this name resulted specifically from the Stearman's allegedly challenging ground handling characteristics. Yep, that's what Wayne was telling you about earlier. But most World War II veterans contend that the nickname was more of a generic reference to the dangerous nature of primary flight training, an endeavor in which the Stearman obviously played a major role. Other aircraft, such as the N3N, also carried the Yellow Peril nickname. At the beginning of World War II, flight training lasted 9 months, with 3 months of primary, 3 months of basic, and 3 months of advanced training. Each pilot had 65 hours of primary training, 75 hours of both basic and advanced training. And during the war, each base was reduced to 10 weeks and then to 9 weeks as the need for pilots grew. Primary training was accomplished in the aircraft such as the PT-17s that we see here today, the PT-19, the PT-22, and the PT-23. The Stearman was the most widely used primary trainer of World War II. Carrie Harden from Starkville, Mississippi, Mike Nebrick from Denton, Texas, flying the two Stearmans in our Stearman Flight today. It is a remarkable airplane in which to fly. I have had the opportunity to sit in the front seat of a couple of Stearman rides, and you wear a leather helmet with the headphones in it on a microphone, and if you put your hand up, you feel the wind going by at 90, maybe 100 miles an hour, and it's just a remarkable kind of experience to ride in an open cockpit biplane. Flying like this in these smaller aircraft is so different than what we experience when we get on an airliner and sit down and strap in. It's a totally different experience. There are those who fly Stearmans and other open cockpit aircraft who contend that this is the kind of flying that ought to take place. That's real flying right there. Stick and rudder flying. The basic flying skills taught to each and every Army and Navy cadet in these Stearman biplanes enable them to move on to more complex aircraft, like basic trainers. One of the basic trainers used by the United States Army Air Corps was the Valiant, the Valiant, sometimes called the Vibrator. It had more complex systems, a two-position variable pitch prop in which the angle of the blade could be changed from inside the cockpit from a takeoff setting to a cruise setting, which would increase the angle of the blade so it would grab more air and allow it to go faster. Also had some more advanced instrumentation. And those instruments were shock mounted on the panel. And at certain power settings, that shock mounted panel would begin to resonate and vibrate. And the legend has it, I'm told, that that's why they called the Valiant, the BT-13, they called it actually the Vibrator.
Thank you. You guys like a poster? You good? Thanks, guys.
Take care of your service.
Thank you, sir.
A little bit later on, just around 12:35 or so, we'll see an advanced trainer used by both the United States Navy and the United States Army Air Force. And that will be the North American Texan. Now watch the aircraft as they break off, pitch up to land. Minute has been cleared to land on runway 7. And then they will clear the area, then we'll be bringing Otto the helicopter back in. Some people have said, why do they name the runways 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever it happens to be? Great question. As you watch the aircraft come in, they are lined up on that runway to land on runway 7 right. It's the right side runway. But if you were to walk out in the middle of that runway with a magnetic compass and set it down, you would see that the runway is aligned pretty much with 70 degrees to the east and the opposite or reciprocal direction of 250 degrees to the west or the west-southwest. So they choose the nearest 10 degrees of magnetic direction, lop off the last 0, and so the runway on which these two aircraft are landing, runways 725 or 70 degrees and the reciprocal 25. And if you look out front where the yellow one is right now, you look at that red sign, if you can see